Good evening and welcome to News on Prime TV. I'm Hassanjia Lavala. First, we take a look at tonight's top stories.
The people of the North and South join in electing their representatives for the future of the country. Polling ends successfully. The President casts his vote in Madamulana, the Prime Minister in Horana, and the opposition leader in Colombo. Counting of postal votes is in progress. The first result is expected before midnight. Police say the election is free and fair. Foreign media also reports that the election was peaceful. And in news overseas, the search is on for dozens of people who have gone missing in Brazilian floods.
Now for the news in detail. Polls for the first post-war parliamentary elections in the country closed at 4 p.m. Brisk polling was reported from many parts of the country.
This is the first general election to be held in post-war Sri Lanka and the second major election in 4 months following the presidential election in January this year. Over 14 million registered voters were eligible to cast their ballots. 11,098 polling centers were operated throughout the country, including the North and East. The election is being staged to elect 196 candidates to the 225-member legislature. The balance 29 members will be selected from the national list. A total of 7,620 candidates representing 36 parties and 301 independent groups are vying for a slot. Prime TV has made arrangements to telecast the results as soon as they are released.
Counting of postal votes in several districts is now in progress. The postal votes are being counted at halls allocated for the purpose at the counting centres. Ballot boxes of several districts including Colombo and Gampaha have already been received. However, all ballot boxes are still to be received in many areas of the North and East and also in some districts including Galle and Ratnapura. President Rajapaksa exercised his franchise at the general election at Madamulana.
The President arrived at the D.A. Rajapaksa Vidyalaya at Madamulana at around 7:04 this morning and cast his ballot. First Lady Shiranti Rajapaksa and his son Nama Rajapaksa and Minister Chama Rajapaksa also cast their votes at the D.A. Rajapaksa Vidyalaya. Expressing views to the media after casting his ballot, the President said he was expecting a strong and stable parliament. It might have a 2/3 or the 5/6 majority depending on the strength provided by the people. When queried whether he should form a government with the assistance of opposition, he said that he already has the support of many opposition members who had crossed over to the government side. He pointed out that when the ruling party assumed power, it did not have the opportunity of appointing the speaker from the government group. The speaker had to be appointed from the opposition. However, during the dissolution of the House, the ruling party enjoyed a majority of 48 votes. The President opined that a strong parliament was imperative to form a stable government. A stable government was also necessary to continue with the development process. He added that a stable parliament was necessary to effect changes to the constitution or to introduce new bills.
පාර්ලිමේන්තුවක් නැතුව ස්ථාවර ආණ්ඩුවක් නැතුව රටක් සංවර්ධනය කරන්න.
The first official result of the election is expected to be released shortly before midnight. Counting of votes has already commenced. It has been carried out at about 1,387 centres. The Election Secretariat said that the counting is taking place in a more transparent manner. The counting is taking place in the presence of party representatives and directed to Colombo through the returning officers. Thereafter, the official results are fed to computers with the approval of the elections chief. The results are due to be announced via the electronic media via new technology after being fed to computers in a streamlined manner. Prime Minister Ratnasiri Vikramanayake and many party leaders cast their ballots in various parts of the country. The overall election was peaceful. According to Inspector General of Police Mahinda Balasurya, no serious incidents had been reported. The IGP said that overall polling was peaceful throughout the country. Only 11 written complaints had been made. Members of the police department, in addition to the army and the STF, provided support to maintain law and order. North and East was also peaceful during the polls. Foreign media has reported that the general election was peaceful.
A free election, a fair election. Many of the news agencies around the world reported on the general election which concluded this evening. They made resonant the same views. The BBC reported that the Sri Lankans displayed keen enthusiasm in exercising their franchise. It made special note that the president was much popular among the citizens for ending a 26-year-old civil war.
BBC reported that Sri Lanka displayed keen enthusiasm in exercising their franchise. It said that the president is much popular among the citizens mainly for ending the 26-year-old war. It was confident that the president would register a clear victory at the polls.
The cable news network, the CNN, also reported that the president and the UPFA was confident of registering a marvelous victory.
CNN also reported that the United People's Freedom Alliance, which is spearheaded by President Rajapaksa, was confident of achieving a resounding victory. CNN had made particular reference to President who ended a war against terrorism which plagued the country for several years. CNN had made a particular reference to the President who ended a war against terrorism which plagued the country for several years.
The Al Jazeera network expressed optimism that the president would confidently surmount the challenge of developing the country.
The Al Jazeera television expressed optimism that the president who ended the war would confidently surmount the challenge of developing the country.
The Reuters news agency further reported that the recently concluded poll would further strengthen and stabilize the current government.
The Reuters